September 27, 2022, regular meeting of the Eastern Township Board of Supervisors. Welcome, everyone. Can we first stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next item is roll call.
Phil Pulaski, Chief of Police.
Jim Sullivan, Director of Engineering Services.
Dave Chris, Director of Finance.
Jeff Winterbottom, Assistant Manager. Bob Mark, Township Manager.
Sean Kilkenny, Township Solicitor, and my colleague, Jim Gallagher, is also Township Solicitor. Great.
Supervisor Dennis DeSanto.
Supervisor Ashley Carroll.
Supervisor Kevin McDevitt.
Vice Chair Jamal Winder.
Chairman Joe Vance. All right, next item on the agenda, we have some new patrol officer to be sworn in, and we also have a new fire policeman to be sworn in. So we will start with our new patrol officer, and there is, who's swearing in? I didn't see it back there, Don. Come on up.
That's unusually quiet.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so just going to take a second to introduce our newest police officer, William Colstick. He's our newest police officer, but he is not a new police officer. So Bill comes to us with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Penn State University, and he served the city of Philadelphia and the residents of Philadelphia for 6 years in some tough places, the Kensington section and also Fishtown. So we're very, very confident that Bill is going to, like the rest of our officers, first and foremost, keep our community safe. And secondly, make sure our community feels safe. So actual safety, not enough. Supervisors support a police department that has to ensure every single day that you feel safe. And Bill's going to be a perfect addition to this team. So Bill, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, if you'd raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I say your name.
I, William Colstick,
Having been appointed as a patrol officer
having been appointed as a patrol officer
in and for the Township of East Norriton,
in and for the Township of East Norriton,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Pennsylvania Constitution,
the Pennsylvania Constitution,
the laws of Pennsylvania,
the laws of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinances of East Norriton Township.
and the laws and ordinances of East Norriton Township,
And I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
carry out my duties
carry out my duties
of patrol officer
of patrol officer
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Further,
Further,
I will uphold and obey,
I will uphold and obey,
enforce the law
enforce the law
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap,
handicap,
or disability.
or disability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great pleasure. I present this badge to our newest police officer in the East Norriton PD, and that is Police Officer William Colstick. Since we didn't have someone hold the Bible from the family, maybe I can grab somebody, one or two or three or four people come up and give you the shield.
Oh, Mom, Dad, and Gina.
I mean, I get away that easy. Jump in. About Mom, want to give him the shield? Sure. Dad was here? No, you guys got to get in.
Yeah, we're
Get somebody on the other side. You good?
Okay.
I'll let Jeff. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Bill.
Thank you.
Welcome to the township. Okay, we have another swearing in, the fire policeman, Richard Napoli.
I didn't go to start until I know if somebody has a heart attack. Yeah.
Hang on, I'll fill it.
You want to do this? Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go. Here we go, my son.
Repeat after me. I, say your name.
I, Rick Napoli,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend the Constitution
defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of the Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of fire police
and I will discharge the duties of fire police
in East Norriton Township,
in East Norriton Township,
Montgomery County,
Montgomery County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Okay, that's great. I thank the members of the force that are here for supporting our newest diploma. You guys, you can stay if you want, or you can leave if you want.
We have one more presentation.
We do, that's right. I'm sorry. I don't want to get you back to your duty, but we do, you're right. The next thing on the agenda, the Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services is going to recognize the officers, and I think we have Anna Trapp here. Okay, Anna, would you come up and give a little presentation?
So thank you so much for. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. My name is Anna Trout. I'm from the Montgomery County Office of Mental Health, and this is my colleague Michelle Monzo from the Crisis Intervention Specialist Training Program at Montgomery County Emergency Service. There will be a test if everybody remembered everything that I said. Michelle, would you like to say a few words?
So, as I'm Michelle Monzo, I'm from Montgomery County Emergency Service, which is right across the cornfield on the ground of the state hospital. We are not affiliated with them. We do a crisis intervention specialist program there, CIS, and we've been doing this program since 1976, so we are actually the oldest school in the nation to educate officers on how to identify mental health issues, how to interact with people who are in crisis intervention, de-escalation. And we decided that, what do we have? Maybe you can tell me, 50, is it 52? Do we know? How many police
Police
departments?
officers?
No, police departments.
52.
So out of the 52 police departments, we have 13 right now who have successfully completed every officer to go through that, which is a huge feat because, you know, even depending on the size of the department, even though the training is free, you know, we're not charging for you to come in, but you still have to find coverage for 3 days for them to come. We do a basic class and we also do an advanced class. The advanced class is actually focused, and I think several have come through that also. It focuses on the officer's wellness because we recognize that if our officers are not in a good place due to everything, the trauma and the critical incidents that they experience, it's going to be hard to help other people in crisis. So we are extremely proud because not only it's, what I like about our classes, it's not just a 3-day training. Like we try to give our officers skills and tools and resources, and you know, I get calls from them saying, hey, you told us to go there and it didn't work. So they continue that collaboration with us. So I think that we have a great relationship with them, and I'm very proud of all of them that are here. You have wonderful officers protecting the community. And teachers.
And we're grateful to East Norriton Township Police Department in particular, not only for the dedication that it takes to send officers through, to develop and to practice the skills that it takes to support somebody on what is most likely the hardest day of their life, but also for the partnerships that have grown out of that. So there's an opportunity to go to this training where you hear stories from real people, you interact with other officers, they don't just sort of learn it, check off the box, and then leave. They come back to the department, they come back to the community, and they're looking for how could things be better? What isn't working? And they have come back to us time and time again with ideas, with feedback. Sometimes it's hard to hear, but we have to hear it. And I think I will be forever grateful to this police department in particular for just the feedback and the ideas that they've had and the partnerships that they've forged with our mobile crisis team. They host a bridge program really dedicated to sort of getting support in at the right time to promote community safety while also protecting people's civil liberties and their wellness and just sort of the right to exist in this community and try to get better. And so I come as a professional and a family member and cannot feel more grateful for what the department has done and for participating in this training. So Chief, would you mind coming up so I can present you with this plaque? So Montgomery County Emergency Service, in partnership with the Montgomery County Office of Mental Health, present the East Norriton Township Police Department with the Crisis Intervention Specialist Program Commitment Award in recognition of full department completion of the 3-day basic class, demonstrating a commitment to mental health training, de-escalation, and support. This is presented with gratitude 2022.
I'm just going to say a few quick words. So these two individuals over here are absolutely incredible. So Michelle is one of the most dedicated people I have ever met. She takes the critical incident specialist program and puts her heart and her soul into it. In addition to that, her input and her really driving force, her and Bob Sands behind the Office of Wellness and Critical Incident Debriefing Program have changed the lives of many, 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 many people. So absolutely outstanding. Anna has been such an advocate for the right way to handle people who are in a mental health crisis is incalculable. And as a result of Anna's work, we've worked in close collaboration with the Mobile Crisis Unit. And the Mobile Crisis Unit, it took some time for us to find the right level of collaboration and coordination, and now we are there. So what we are able to do, what our officers are able to do, it's in a situation where we have a mental health consumer who usually has a co-occurring problem, a co-occurring issue. They may be homeless, they may be drug addicted, they may be an alcoholic. Our police officers can now reach out to the Mobile Crisis Unit, having been trained by Michelle. They can now reach out to the Mobile Crisis Unit, and we can get a co-responder to come to the scene and help us de-escalate the situation and get the individual the help that they need while keeping you all safe. Because remember, that is our #1 goal. You have to be safe and you have to feel safe. And we have been so successful in doing this. And the reason we're able to do this, the bottom line reason why we're able to do this, is the professionalism, the dedication of our police officers, and equally important, their humanity. I've seen these officers spend hours de-escalating a situation where maybe it could have been handled differently had people been impatient and maybe felt less humanity. So our officers are really, really outstanding. In terms of the program, I want to thank 2 retired members who were instrumental in making this happen. So before I got here, we were at 100%. And so I want to thank retired Sergeant Tim Brennan, and I want to thank retired Chief Brandon Pasquale. So Chief Pasquale was really the driving force to make sure that we would always have this 100%. So I'm riding on the coattails of that. So thank you, everybody, for what you do, and our officers the best. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Anna, and thank you, Michelle. And we're
Are you ever talking to officers?
Yeah.
Oh, not a good picture.
Why don't you get into it? I get some people on this side too, and I'm balanced. Chris, Tim, why don't you come on this side?
All right. Well, I'll just make one comment. That they're not, but they know it. I'm glad that they were recognized for the good public service they provide. Because we all know who live in this country, that's the best police department in the county. Maybe further, and we're proud to have them. Okay, moving on. I want to make an announcement that we met in executive session to discuss matters of litigation and personnel prior to this meeting. And has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes and the corrections from last time? Anything different? Okay. Hearing nothing, I'll make a motion to approve the August 23rd regular meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Supervisor Pirro, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, citizens to be heard. Anyone here? Yes, sir. You can come up to the mic and just give us your name and address.
My client and friend, Mr. Colbert, experienced a building or a structure put next to his property that did not have a permit. It was put there, and then he thought it was okay before they did get a permit, but realized that it was on the setback. So here's a property built on a setback that sadly was never approved.
I'm sorry, sir, what's the address that you're speaking of?
319 Colorado.
Okay, so with that said,
I'm sorry, what is your name?
I'm Brent Sandino.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, so it was built. Lo and behold, he turns around and he called and he got no response from the township. I called and I said, can we please have the zoning officer come out? Somebody's got to look at this, okay? Magically, the zoning officer didn't come out and look at it. And he will be able to tell you what, so you're not getting hearsay, but he could see it was done on the setback. So, with that said, he waited probably 2 or 3 weeks and nothing happened. And then a letter was sent, a certified letter. And the letter was addressed to the Board of Supervisors. Oh, that's you. A letter was sent to you, the Board of Supervisors, and it clearly stated exactly what was going on. And that letter, which you can't expect it, when was it? I don't know when it was. The letter was dated, I've got everything stapled together here. You know when you sent this, Chip, what day it was? Well, let's see, when it was signed for. Signature addressee, amazingly, there's no dates on here. August 8th. It was sent August 8th, and we waited and we waited. And there was no response from, let me see it again, the Board of Supervisors didn't bother responding. Bob Hart didn't bother responding. Or Jim Sullivan, I don't know where Jim is. But there you go. But Jim didn't bother responding. So now we're here, and the confusing part is, for me, I had an air conditioner put in a couple weeks ago. The guy pulled in the parking lot, and zoning was there. Now, I assume that the plumber got it. Here's an example that it was put up without a permit. It was there. Zoning came out, nothing was done. We sent a letter and nothing was done to the Board of Supervisors, of course, Bob and the fellow back there, and nothing was done. So either, my question came in to him was, is it, and I think there's an attorney here, capricious and arbitrary enforcement? You only do, like, some people? Or if everybody has to follow the rules of the township? That was one. And what responsibility then does the Board of Supervisors have, or Bob, or anybody else? If nothing more than simply just responding to a letter. Here's the example, you guys can have it, and then I know you're busy. You can look at this, this is where it was built, we can pass it down. So, that's my main concerns, is A, can this possibly be looked into? And I'm in this township too. Can somebody at least respond to him and follow up and make sure if, in his situation, it is incorrect, either remove it, inspect it, or something, because it does. Go ahead, I'll let you talk.
And then, Mr. Chairman, I know the zoning officer, Mr. Sullivan, is not aware of this, and will give you his thoughts afterwards.
He's not aware of it?
He is aware of it.
Oh, he's aware of it, okay, good.
How you doing? I'm Harry Cole, we live down at 333 East Johnson Highway, in East Northern.
What was the address again?
333, it's down there on Johnson Highway next to the pumping station.
Okay,
Everybody knows who that stinking pumping station is. On Johnson Highway.
okay.
So, I'm down here, and when he put it up, I thought it was okay. But then I started getting this water coming down through my yard, right? And I had a fence up, and the way it was, the water coming off the roof of this porch ruined my fence. And I didn't know it was illegal at the time. And my sister told me actually to check into it, and I did, and I found it had a permit. So I don't know what's supposed to be done. I know my property's getting ruined, and
Sale value?
my sale value is going down, and my problem going on deaf ears, that's falling on deaf ears.
Okay, well, let's let Mr. Sullivan, who's aware of this, respond to that.
Okay, thank you.
His problem is not falling on deaf ears. I did go out and inspect it, and found out there was no permit. It is built outside the setback. It was built more than 2 years ago?
About 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago. I had a conversation with our code enforcement department, and they advised that it was built without a permit, it was never complained about for more than 2 years. There wasn't anything we could do about it. I think I had a conversation with a couple of people who assured me they were going to reach out to Mr. Colbert, but apparently that didn't happen. So I have to apologize for that. I did consult with the solicitor about what our enforcement capabilities are for an addition built outside the setback. There is apparently no reasonable time to allow a non-conforming condition. So what we have to do at this point is, it's a rental property, so we got to notify the owner of the property that he's in violation. We can apply to the zoning hearing board and see how that goes. So that's where we're at right now.
So if I can, this is the first I'm getting briefed on it, that in any detail. If we could set up a time, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, whenever you're available, I will make sure Jim and I are out there, and we are having our new engineers being appointed tonight. We'll be glad to come out and really get it. I will have my eyes on it as well. Whatever we can do legally to help your situation, I assure you we will do it.
Well, thanks, I mean, that's what he's looking for, was a response. You know, I didn't require it, right? Just, hey, look, we're working on it, we're talking to the solicitor, or, you know, whatever. That's what he was looking for.
It sounds like Mr. Sullivan, the zoning officer, asked someone to reach out, and it didn't happen, and I assure you that will be dealt with aggressively
And the
tomorrow.
board was aware of it, right?
No.
So we sent a letter certified, and you guys, you don't get that?
No, we got something like this until it's stamped.
But let me just say this, and Mr. Colbert, I'll speak directly to you. as a member of the Board of Supervisors, it's our job to advocate for the residents of this township. Don't ever think that, I hope that no one ever thinks that they have to take the extreme action of sending a certified letter. We're here for meetings. The secretary, if you call and leave a message for us, they get to us. I don't know how many calls were made, but I don't want anyone to ever think that they have to go to extremes to get a hold of us. We shouldn't be that hard to get a hold of. So I apologize.
If we sent a letter and we certified it, we thought you definitely would have gotten a copy of it.
And we didn't, so.
Yeah. And I surely don't remember seeing either, but I can promise you we'll be there tomorrow. But anytime you need me, Bob Hart, you come here, you get me anytime.
Who signed for the letter?
Hold on. Let me see it. Well, we can send another copy.
No, you can just tell me who signed for it, please.
Real? Core? Here, I'll just show you. Nezavisky or Nezavich or something?
I know, it's
No,
Carol.
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 Thank you.
Okay, thank you, we will, I can assure you we will deal with this, yeah. We will, all the seriousness it needs to be first thing in the morning.
Well, there was a township, I mean, there's nothing wrong, right?
And you know, and if we had gotten it, we would certainly have responded to it, and we
Yes.
do apologize for that.
Why would someone from now on, if their certified letters come in and made out to you guys, I'd make sure you get them.
We are going to
That'd
do
be
that.
phase two.
We are definitely going to do that.
With that said, hey, thanks so much.
Mr. Zandino, Mr. Colbert, thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we will have action this week.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else, citizens to be heard? Anybody online, Mr. Chris? No? Okay. Comments by the Board of Supervisors?
I have a comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
A little bird told me that congratulations are in order because the township family's grown by 2 feet. Eric Myers and his wife are expecting, so congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Thank you. Also, the thousands of people that were here for Community Day, the staff and the police department and the fire department and all the collaboration was remarkable. I think it was the best one we've ever had. I think it was the biggest one we've ever had.
Absolutely.
So you all should be commended, and I thank you.
And that goes certainly for all of us here. It was a great day. The staff, the police department, the fire department, everybody, pitched in, and it was a great day.
It definitely went to new heights.
I want to wish our Jewish neighbors a Happy New Year, so Shana Tova to any of our Jewish neighbors. And also, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, so, really want to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, so I want to honor our neighbors who are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, so thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on, old business. A park and recreation building. We're going to call on our Director of Engineering Services, Jim Sullivan, to review this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you may recall, we bid this in August. We received no bids, so we were authorized to rebid. We did rebid it, and again received no bids. So with 2 bidding processes with no bids, we can now go out and try to find a qualified contractor. We have meetings with previous contractors and some other guys, so what we're looking for is you to authorize us to do that. And of course, we'll come back with a contract once we have a contractor with a reasonable price.
Yes. Well, we can't say that we didn't try once and twice, and hopefully there's 3 strikes and we're not out, so yes, I agree it's time for us to go out and find a qualified contractor to work on the Parks and Rec building. So I'll put that in the form of a motion to authorize our township staff and Mr. Sullivan to select a qualified contractor for the Parks and Rec building. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Supervisor DeSanto. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item A, Hannah Avenue change order. I would like to call on our Director of Engineering Services, Jim Sullivan, to review this item.
Thank you. Vice Chairwoman Weiner. This is one of my favorite things to do, of course, a change order on a construction project. The Hannon Avenue culvert, which was actually a head wall, was going along fine until we looked at the pipes that were feeding it. And all of them completely rotted beyond repair. So they all have to be replaced. And then we looked in the manhole, there was a third pipe. We thought there was just one coming across and another one feeding that, so there were two in here. Now there happens to be three. So we have to change out the manhole to accommodate the pipe that goes this way and the other two go this way. Get down to the film. So the damage by this change order is there's three items again. The total is $113,417 minus a $50,000 contingency, which we put in to anticipate something like this, and never figured it would go over $50,000 and change, but unfortunately it did. So the contract change order is for $63,417.14. We ask that you approve this expenditure. Mr. Chris.
Okay, anybody comments or questions about that? All right, then I will put before a motion to approve the change order for the Hannah Avenue project. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Supervisor McDevitt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, authorization to advertise, update to the stormwater management ordinance. I'd like to call on Mr. Sullivan to bring us up to speed on that. Take it away.
Thank you, Supervisor Zente. I'm sorry this meeting is entirely me at this time. Occasionally, DEP requires us to look at and update our stormwater management ordinance, and then time has come around again. The changes to the ordinance are a lot to do with water quality that we don't have in our ordinance. These are the model ordinance we incorporated into what we already had. It wasn't a major change, but there are other things that everyone is now concerned about more than they used to be. And these things will include water quality, evapotranspiration, fancy word for water going into the sky from our basins, and our new township engineer will be appointed in a few minutes. We'll take a look at that, make sure it's correct, and we get it to the solicitor's office so they can codify it, and then we'll have it adopted. So this motion is for an authorization to advertise that ordinance, which we hopefully adopt at the next meeting.
This is an addition, these are just really housekeeping changes required by DEP that are happening, and Solicitor County can tell you, happening at every township.
Terry, the choo-choo train's coming.
Sorry about that.
Train's pulling into the station. Sorry.
Good timing there. Okay, well, any questions or comments about the authorization to advertise the stormwater management ordinance? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to authorize the advertisement of the stormwater management ordinance update. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor DeSanto. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item number C, appointment of township engineer, DeKalb Township Manager, Mr. Hart, to the seven, please.
Thank you, Supervisor DePiero. As the board knows, we have been doing some internal reviews, and we thought it was prudent to shift some of our professional engineering services around for the most efficient and productive service we can get. RVE has been our general township engineer for quite some time. They're going to continue in a role in traffic and planning for us. But we fought for the best all-around service and expertise. We, as you know, we looked around. We have, some of us here have had past experience with Gilmore in general, but specifically Krista Heinrich, who is a recent addition to Gilmore. So we know her work. Her reputation has been outstanding for a number of years. We had the opportunity to bring her in to handle our general engineering with Gilmore, and that's where we have before you tonight to appoint Krista Heinrich and with Gilmore as our new township solicitor. That being said, in relation to the last action item, Krista knows that I like change orders. I like to see change orders as much as I like to see Ellis comment.
Negative change.
Once every 75 years. So with that being said, that's before you today for that.
All right, and I know you made a Freudian slip. Mr. Kilkenny was starting to worry that he was going to be replaced as solicitor. Krista was going to be our new solicitor. We knew that.
I'm sort of distracted by the conversation earlier this evening.
Yeah,
that I'll be dealing with.
I understand. I just had to get that in, you know that. So, any questions or comments about the appointment from the board? No? Okay. Hearing none then, I will make a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Heinrich from Gilmore Associates as our new township engineer. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Supervisor Piro. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Congratulations, Krista, now you'll be sitting over on that side.
Sit in the comfy chairs.
You get to sit next to Jim, I don't know if that's, you know.
I'm used to.
But welcome. All right, moving right on.
Yes, authorization to advertise. Ordinance approving the installation of stop signs at Kimberly and Jennifer Drive, the Stony Creek Road. So I guess that's two places, so that's, yes, that's going to be one at Kimberly and one at Jennifer, and then there's going to be another one at Stony Creek. I'd like to call on Mr. Sullivan to enlighten us on this.
Thank you, Supervisor. We're actually going to install a number of signs on Stony Creek. A lot of the streets on Stony Creek, the side streets have stop signs, or don't have stop signs. You're allowed to, and you have stop signs on Stony Creek. Based on some concerns by residents raised over the past few months, we decided that it's a good idea to put some stop signs up, slow down traffic. We feel they're a little bit better than speed humps, but speed humps are still possible. But there is one stop sign on Kimberly Drive that has to go in, and then a number of stop signs on Stony Creek. All these stop signs have already been installed. And we can have them in the field like that for 45 days. But before that 45 days is up, we must pass an ordinance confirming the locations of these stop signs. Our traffic engineer, Remington Vernick, is in the middle of a study to see if we can keep the stop signs where they are. So that study is supposed to be done by the end of this month, which would be Friday. So hopefully that comes to fruition, and then we can draft an ordinance and have it adopted at the next meeting.
Okay, any questions, comments, concerns? All right, thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Then I will make a motion to vote for us to authorize the advertisement of the proposed ordinance, which is for the stop signs.
Correct.
And we will adopt the ordinance at the next meeting.
Hopefully that's correct.
Okay, and I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Supervisor McDevitt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, resolution number 2865, authorizing the disposal of equipment. We have a bunch of equipment we're going to get rid of, and we're going to have Mr. Dave Christ, our finance director, tell us, not in detail, but basically what it is.
Thank you, Chairman Gavanis. Generally, each year, each department goes through and identifies pieces of equipment that are either obsolete, no longer in use, or and of no value to the township. We did it last year. Each department has stored up the equipment during the course of the year. We've got a number of computers, printers, old phones, hard drives, things like that. Items, again, that are no longer in use, obsolete, and have no value. By practice, we come to the board then once a year with a resolution that you have in front of you that details those pieces of equipment that we're intending to get rid of. And when I say get rid of, we dispose of it, but we always destroy those items first before we then get rid of them. And basically, this is our annual practice of getting rid of all of our old stuff so we can make room for the new stuff that we want to get. So in front of you is Resolution 2865, which details each of those pieces of equipment with the make, model, serial number, and a brief description of the items that we'd like to dispose of. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions from the board, comments? All right, we're going to do our annual disposal. So I will put that in the form of motion to approve the resolution 2865, which authorizes Mr. Chris to dispose of the equipment. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Supervisor DePiero. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, item F, authorization to purchase a rescue pumper. I'd like to call on Township Manager Robert Hart to read this item.
Thank you, Supervisor Winder. For those of us civilians, especially that grew up in the city, a rescue pumper is a fire engine. That being said, as you know, our volunteer fire company has been, does an outstanding job protecting our township and our residents day and night, 365 days a year, and keeping them, helping them to be properly equipped from jackets and helmets and everything that goes with that. Well, the trucks are the most important, because without the trucks, I know we have enough hoses to reach Philadelphia, but the trucks, at least what I'm told, but the trucks are important, and the reality is the trucks are a major expense, anywhere from $750,000 to $1.5 million or more, depending on the type of truck. Earlier this year, a committee, earlier this year, a committee was put together, an apparatus committee, to really look over the equipment that, the apparatus that the company has, and what their needs are going to be over the next 5 to 10 years. That process went on and on. Jeff was, from the township assistant manager, Jeff Winterbottom was part of it. I'm not sure he knows anything more now about a fire engine later than he did last time. All he asked was that the flux capacitor worked properly. That being said, a lot of work went into this. I know the committee put a lot of time in. Things that we can't even imagine were thought of and fine-tuned and tweaked to make it the most efficient multi-purpose vehicle, and correct me if I'm wrong, but multi-purpose truck rescue pumper that we could have to help get the job done and protect our residents. So, as you know, the township has purchased these the last 2 trucks. With all the challenges going, we know these are $1 million trucks. I don't know who out there can afford to do these things without help from townships. Volunteer fire companies do a great job and a great service, but the reality is there's a financial burden that's overwhelming. So in front of you tonight is the opportunity, after this committee put a ton of time to recommend this sort of hybrid truck. If the committee had decided and worked towards replacing what we had, it would be another $600,000 potentially. But because of this truck and the work they've done, this truck is approximately $900,000, $905,000.
Terry doesn't need a truck.
Yeah.
The train's coming.
Shut off. So this truck, it's really $905,000 truck. The opportunity in front of us is we put down so much, which is over $510,000 and change. We put down now. The reality is, and this is the reality of it's not even just because of the times we're in. These are very intricate, complex apparatus. The projected delivery time of this truck is 2 years from now. And let's hope that isn't extended by supply chain issues. So that being said, tonight before you is authorization to purchase this pumper. And the financing would be $510,000 and $510,749 now. And within 90 days of delivery, which would be a year and a half to 2 years from now, the balance would be due. We have that money in our funds. It's not, it's not something, it's a huge investment, we all know that, but it's so critical to our health and welfare and safety in this township that I really have to give credit to the committee people. When they go out there and meet, everybody comes home late at night, they don't want to go out to a truck meeting. But they did it, and they came back, they did a lot of work, and they came back with a strong recommendation, a fiscally responsible recommendation. And I think it's the best situation that this board, this township could have going forward with this purchase. So that's before you tonight, to authorize the purchase of it, and staff would take that next step with, it's a CoStarz, meaning that you don't have to bid that, it's a CoStarz vendor. We would start that process going forward. And then in a couple of years, I'm sure we would have the unveiling of the new truck, so stay tuned. But that's before you do that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hart. Any comments from the board, questions? I just have one. We had a presentation last month, Eric. I think this truck is going to replace how many of other trucks do we have that have to be decommissioned?
So, through the apparatus replacement plan that I've worked together with the Volunteer Fire Company, this truck will be taking the role of 2 trucks, maybe even in the future, taking on some additional roles. But right now, this truck will put the fleet to a total of 2 engines and 1 aerial apparatus in primary use, and then 1 aerial in reserve apparatus use at this time.
Okay.
So that reserve aerial that we would end up replacing would be somewhere in the area of $1.5 to $1.6 billion that we're not putting back into the replacement plan at this time.
Okay, thank you for that.
I think, Mr. Chairman, this is also going to be an evolving process.
Sure.
I know in the past we put committees together to buy a truck, but I think we're going to be proactive and really follow this year to year. So we're really ahead of the game and know what our needs from the people that use it and need it and deal with it. I don't know if anybody from the fire company has anything to add, but if you're good, I think we're good.
I think they're good with it. I think that I will take this as a good opportunity to thank them for their service and to provide them with the equipment that they need to continue to serve this community the awesome way they've been doing it. And we appreciate it. And with that said,
Also, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to abstain from the vote since I am a member of the fire company and it's just a conflict, so.
okay, well, appreciate that. All right, well, that being said, with Mr. McDevitt abstaining, I will put forward a motion to approve the purchase of a rescue pumper for the fire company. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Supervisor Winder. All in favor?
Aye.
And 1 abstention. Motion carries. And hopefully in a year and a half, we'll have a new handicap.
So now,
Supervisor McDevitt, if I could say, just if you could put an email to me that you abstained from the vote.
I will do.
And that, just for the record, that's.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
all right, so that motion was about purchasing a rescue pumper, and my job is to talk about the 2023 minimum municipal obligations. On Finance Director Dave Chris.
Well, thank you, Supervisor DeSanto. I'm so pleased that you're interested in our MMO obligations.
Hi, guys. Thank you. Be safe.
Enjoy the clear room.
Somebody lost their pen.
Turn it down. Wait, somebody just put it just so they wouldn't have to listen to it. Anyway, thank you, Supervisor DeSanto. Each year, we go through this process of the township determining what its minimum municipal obligation, and we're going to keep referring to it now as MMO, is for the township's pension plans. We're required to do this by law. The state passed this law some time ago that requires us to calculate what our contribution is in order to ensure that our pension plans are solvent and will be here today and in the future for its participants. The township actually has 3 pension plans. There's a police pension defined benefit plan, there's a non-uniform defined benefit plan, and then if you recall 2 years ago, the board authorized and implemented the new non-uniform defined contribution plan. The MMOs are required for the defined benefit plans, the police and the non-uniform. And if you look on the screen, there's some information. This is a continuation of the information that was prepared last year, but it now includes 2021 data. Just some information about the non-uniform pension plan and how it's performed in the market over the last several years. And you can see how performance-wise the township plan has done pretty well, other than the year 2018, where our plan, like everyone else's plan, took a nosedive. We do not have 22 results in here yet. Our plans perform and track probably fairly closely to what everybody's experiencing in their individual plans. We tend to be a little bit more conservative, so maybe not quite as bad, but we'll have that updated next year. Our police plan investment yields are very, very close. We follow the same, both plans follow the same set of investment criteria. So that same dive in 2018 that you saw on the non-uniform plan is also represented here in the police pension plan. And just a quick note about the 2 values there. There's one labeled a market value and one labeled an actuarial value. The market value is what our actual return on our investments was for any given year. So, for example, in 2019, our investment return was 17.5%. The actuarial value is what our actuaries, our accountants use for calculating how well the pension plan is doing. And what I mean by that is there's different guidelines that they can follow, one of which is a smoothing of investment returns. And the idea there is instead of having these peaks and valleys, which then dramatically impact what our contributions may be year in and year out, they're allowed by law to do a 5-year smoothing average. So whereas our investment return for the 1 year may have been 17.5%, the value used for actuarial purposes and for reporting purposes was 8.4%. And again, the reason for calculating these MMOs is to make sure that the township is contributing the appropriate amount to make sure that our pension plans are solvent. And the last solvency report was issued in 2021. Our non-uniform plan was funded at 94%, which is spectacular. We're one of a small percentage of municipalities across the state that are in that category. Our police plan is at 81.8%, which is also spectacular. The difference between the two is that the non-uniform plan, the investors held on to a portion of cash that was invested over a period of time, and that's why it wasn't as adversely affected by market returns. But both plans are funded tremendously well right now. So when we talk about the actual MMO itself, the minimum municipal obligation, on the far right column is 2023, and that's the one we're talking about, fiscal year 2023. For our non-uniform pension plan, our employer contribution is $375,008. And there's 3 colors on the bar, and they represent the different costs that make up that $375,000. There's a normal cost, which is the ongoing yearly expense for maintaining the pension plan, meaning our annuities to our pensioners. Then there is a amortization contribution, and that's the amount that we put into the plan to make up for prior year's losses. And that's actually the largest amount, and that'll go on for the next 7 years when we'll pay that off completely, and then we'll only be paying the normal cost. And then our administrative fee, which is the smallest amount, that is the $375,000. Our police pension plan, is larger. The employer contribution is $1,116,605. Recognize that we have a lot more police officers, and their plan is different than the non-uniform plan, so the benefits are a little bit different, which of course is why the cost is higher. But then that cost is also partially offset by monies that are contributed by the state. So next year it'll be approximately 400 and some thousand that we should receive from the state to offset that. But again, the three main portions are the annual cost, what we pay our engineers, the amortization cost, which is the amount that we contribute to pay for past losses, and then of course the small amount, which is the administrative expense. And our administrative expense is somewhere around 0.06%, 0.08%, something like that. It's very, very low. So before you are the two sheets. There's actually three sheets. I gave you the defined contribution one, but that's not actually required to be approved by the board. The two that are required are the minimum municipal obligation for the employees' defined benefit plan, and the MMO for the police defined benefit plan. The one for $375,000, the other for the $1.1 million. If that wasn't enough, I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
You thought that wasn't going to be exciting.
And I appreciate the fact that you didn't leave the room like everyone else.
Well, thank you for your efforts, Mr. Chris. You know, you're the finance guru, and we always appreciate you keeping us well informed of where the money goes.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Okay. Any questions, comments from the board? No, I didn't think so. Okay. Then I will make a motion to approve the 2023 minimum municipal obligations, employee defined benefit plan, and the police defined benefit plan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Supervisor Messina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Monthly expenditures, you're up again.
Thank you, Supervisor DePiero.
Every day.
If the last item wasn't exciting enough, then approval of the monthly expenditures should make up for it. So presented for you tonight are the township expenditures for the month. More specifically, the expenditures from the date of our last board meeting to the day before this current board meeting. And those total expenditures were $875,145.82. The accounts payable portion of those expenditures, which are payments for utilities, supplies, services, etc., totaled $338,391.42. And our payroll expenditures, salaries, wages, taxes, etc., were $538,754.40. And township staff is asking for the board's approval of these monthly expenditures. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, any questions? We'll trust your numbers. I will make a motion to approve the monthly expenditures from August 23rd through September 26th of 2022 in the total of $875,145.82. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Supervisor McDevitt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, manager's update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an update, but I don't want to jump in front of a topic that I am pretty sure that certain people are here tonight to discuss. So I will let them speak at public comment, and then I can give you all some of the information that I have to report. The only other thing is, as to Mr. Colbert, who is here tonight, I will absolutely find out the issue tomorrow. That is my fault that wasn't, because that can't happen. That doesn't happen in these aren't active. It won't happen in the and I want to assure you of that, because that was unacceptable. And we will get to the bottom of it. I don't know if the eventual answer will be what the resident wants or the homeowner wants, because we have to really get to the issue. But nobody should feel that they are not heard or come here. We go out every day and meet the residents, go to their home. So I can tell you how disappointing it is, to say the least. And they're making it right from that perspective, and everyone tomorrow will know how unacceptable that was. So I assure you that.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Hart, we appreciate that, and, you know, I have to say, 99.9% of the time, there is a quick response. This one probably fell through the cracks, and I know you'll get to the bottom. Thank you. All right, citizens to be heard. Come on up to the microphone, give us your name and address.
Hi, Devin York, 3154 Sycamore Lane. So I just have a question, and I'm going back to the stop signs first. Thank you to the supervisors, and, you know, Mr. Hart and everyone who helped put the stop signs in our neighborhood, you know, on Stony Creek Road. The only question I have is you had made the comment, Mr. Sullivan, that they've all been installed. Whatever happened with the Green Hill Drive stop sign? Because that is our biggest, one of our biggest. I mean, the rest of them are great, and I will tell you, as a resident whose house is at the corner, you all know where I live, I have seen a significant difference in the speeding along Stony Creek Road and people stopping, and our officers have been sitting in the intersections, so that's appreciated. But we're just kind of curious and
And I can update you on that. It's not that they've all been installed, but the ones that were installed were the ones that Jim felt comfortable putting before the study said it could go. And there were a variety of sight lines and distances that was it. And again, we hope to have it by Friday. We were told by the 1st. If it's not by Friday, I assume very early next week, because after tonight, I'm very impatient about those kinds of issues. So we will stay tuned for that, because that's something.
Is there a way to lower them a little? They're real.
I don't know, I'll have to ask them.
I was just curious, it's like the one, I know the one in Stony Creek Road and Sycamore right now is very, very high. Like, you know, so just curiosity.
It's something we will, yeah, I can't tell you.
No, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? You know why we're here?
Yeah, that's why, I mean, that's why I didn't want to, honestly, I know you. I'll brief these gentlemen, these two residents were at our community day and have been around. You may have seen different businesses. They've had petitions about interest in a dog park. I know they put a lot of work in it, and I knew they were coming from Facebook, because we see, and I assume they were coming anyway.
I'd also just like to say, I don't want to call it a petition because it sounds aggressive. We were just collecting signatures to get a reading on the community.
That's
just, because that sounds really aggressive petition.
It has to be.
And the paper says it, but I use the standard one from work. If I don't want to run, I just want to say.
No, I'm kidding. But if you want to, what you've.
Me and my neighbor Gary, we've been trying to, try to get the dog park going. We have almost 300 signatures roughly. Trying to get people to come out to the meetings. That's where we're at. I'm living here.
So feel your opinion.
Get on the agenda, or try to get a conversation going about it, or whatever we need to do.
So I'll give you my update. I need to know what you may have planned on, I didn't know what
We
you
don't know
planned.
what we have planned, because that's what people are asking. We don't know anything. We need to talk to somebody to sit down or something.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, I can tell you, we've been doing a little bit internally, as you know. Representative Bradford is very confident that in the very near future, we're hoping weeks, we'll be delivering a large grant for this.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, no, I know you were. In fact, we talked a little bit about that. The board has dealt with Representative Bradford on this issue. I've reached out, and we've had discussions, a variety of areas on his part, from his part, to see what he can do. He is, as of this morning, he is very confident that he can bring some significant grant money to this to make it a reality. That being said, I didn't want to get too far out ahead until I know about the money, but he told, I said, can I say that tonight at the meeting? He said, absolutely, please do. Again, it's not 100%, but he was as close as you get to 100 without having the money. He was very, very confident that he could come through with it. And that's important to us, because it gives us a little back support of going forward. And again, as you know, we've discussed other areas. I know these gentlemen have done the work, but we've also done internal, what Whitney does, and several other places do. I think we can come up with a general guideline that makes sense that everybody, you know, not everybody's going to agree with everything. So just so you know, I talked to Whitney, and when they put a thing out, you know, a lot of people said, great, I'll do this, and other people said, take that, and, you know. So we're all gonna, it's never gonna be perfect with everyone, but I think I think other places have done a lot of the work, which helps for us to pull it. And I spoke with both of these gentlemen in that community, and I think we're all on the same page. No one's looking for anything reinvent the wheel or anything crazy. We're looking for a reasonable situation, environment, and program that this can, and it can work. I mean, again, it's worked other places. We just steal those good ideas because they already have the pitfalls that don't work and they're tweaked. So we learn by their juxtaposition. So we will know that soon. If I find out ahead of time, we will announce that. We'll announce that sort of on Facebook that we're, you know, but otherwise the next meeting. But I'm hoping to hear before the next meeting. Because you're coming down to the legislative end of the legislative year, so that kind of grant money comes out. I mean, and part of the reason I had this final conversation was Representative Bradford was at the fire company today, presenting a check for digital signs at both locations to help with recruiting and notifications and all that kind of stuff. So he was very forthright. I know the Supervisor Winder and McDevitt were there, and I think I hope to have some good information for you soon on that. So I don't have more for you than that, but I think that's pretty good. And I was looking forward to, I know we're all looking forward to bringing that.
So they plan on trying to get sponsorships, yearly sponsorships from other places also to offset costs of the dog farm. So I wasn't looking for the township to take all the liability of the responsibility of the
I agree with that. I think that
I don't want to do any of that until I know something.
and that can help with the long-term maintenance. So I think that's something we can talk about because I think Representative Bradford was pretty confident he can deal with the initial, you know, but the ongoing stuff is something I think that is thinking outside the box and may be able to, with partner, make something work. So stay tuned.
Appreciate your time and board's time.
Thank you. Thanks for coming to the meeting.
I thought that was a big deal. I was like, oh my God.
That's okay.
I was going to bring my dogs.
That'd be good after online, you probably order, you probably just try to play with your children.
But thank you for, anybody else, comments, questions, concerns? Nobody online? Okay, thank you for coming. We appreciate this, just as an aside. It is difficult to sit up here, you know, we have our videographer Tim back there taking the video, but you have that, people here make a difference, you know, and I wish more people would come and get involved in what we're doing. Because you don't want to sit here in front of an empty room. You know, it's nice to have,
for a month.
it's nice to have interaction.
Posts. I came in, I saw the full house, I'm like, what? So we're losing bodies quickly.
Absolutely. Okay, well, hearing no more, upcoming meetings, Margie has one of those two misplaced it, I think.
While Margie's bringing that up, Mr. Chairman, the township's having a drive-through, not a trunk or treat this year, it's gonna be a drive-through trick or treat for the dozens and dozens of people watching the video. It's October 22nd from 6:30 to 8. Thank you for laughing over that. Right outside the township building, you don't even have to get in your cars. There's gonna be stations, right?
Yeah.
Stations of people giving out candy to the kids in the cars, dress them up, bring them over. and then take the time to put
And the
them.
lights are going to be up for around 9 days, so.
Yeah, there'll be all kinds of inflatables and light ups and stuff, so it's gonna be kind of cool, so.
All right, well, that takes care of one of my events.
All right, sorry.
All right, that's okay, here, you jumped ahead here. Saturday, October 1st, which is this Saturday, by the way, from 9 to 12, there's a shredding event in the parking lot by the bocce courts. Monday, October 3rd, we're having, and our Parks and Rec department does a great job on all these events. 10:30 till noon is bingo. And of course, Saturday, the 22nd, is the Bootastic drive-through, it's now been called, I guess. And Thursday, October 27th, at 12:30 to 3, there's a movie matinee. And both the bingo and the movie matinee, you need to RSVP, so you need to contact the Parks and Rec department to sign up for that, because it's a limited number of seats. And our next meeting is Tuesday, October 25th, the next board meeting, right here at 7 o'clock.
So wait,
Okay.
no trunk or treat?
What's that?
No?
Just decided it was.
No more trunk or treat this year. Yeah.
Well, everybody has a trunk or treat, that's fair. And there were about 4 other ones at the same day, at the same time. So that's why we went for the night with the light ups. And we'll bring it to you next year if you want to try something.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Seconded by Supervisor Meyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.